Hi, welcome to this video on my channel, Baby Prada Meal Prep Video. I am doing a meal prep video. I've tried a lot of different kinds of meal prepping. This is what I found works best for me. I like to compare it to like dig in when I'm trying to explain to people what we do. What I'll do week to week is buy some vegetables. Broccoli is almost always on the list because we love like grilled or roasted broccoli. We eat it like candy, and I know how lame that sounds, but it is so good. And Brussels sprouts I love, and these Brussels sprouts are fat. They are fat. So I'll roast those, and then I'll usually make some rice to keep in the fridge. I'll get some greens, and then I'll kind of toss it together in a bowl. I'm also gonna make a dressing. It's the Trader Joe's Goddess. It's a copycat dressing because I don't have a Trader Joe's anywhere that's too close to me, but I usually have the ingredients for a copycat on hand. And for me, that's just easier. So I posted on my Instagram story. If you're not following me, my Instagram is at BabyXPrada, BabyXPrada, and asked if there was anything that people wanted me to talk about, any questions that people wanted me to answer. Without further ado, let's do the thing. We're gonna start with the Brussels sprouts. These Brussels sprouts are huge. That's a big Brussels sprout. Okay, how much of things you buy obviously depends on who you're feeding. If you're just feeding yourself, if you're feeding a partner or a friend or a family or whatever. This is probably half a pound to a pound of Brussels sprouts. I have no idea. That's not something that I'm good at. I'm gonna wash these as I go because I'm lazy. So I'm just gonna like rinse off a few at a time. I'm gonna cut them, and as I cut them, I'm gonna throw them in this bowl. This isn't something that you have to do, but I usually cut off this like brown end just because when I see that, I don't wanna eat it. So I cut that off. And then with Brussels sprouts that are massive like this, I will cut them into quarters. So I'll cut them in half, and then I'll cut them again. These have some spots on them that are like darker. This won't focus, but just trust me. Don't be intimidated by seeing like brown spots on food. A lot of the time they're on the outer layer, and you can just peel them away or cut them off. Put it in the bowl. We're gonna preheat the oven. I like to preheat the oven to 400 degrees when I'm doing this. You can put it on a lower heat. It's honestly just like a preference that I have. I like to cook things a little bit faster, and I love for these veggies to get crispy. So the broccoli will get like crispy around the edges and have like a grilled taste, but also be nice and tender. If you want, you can collect these like little brussels leaves that come off when you cut them. Just put those in a pan with some olive oil and some balsamic vinegar, and I'll roast those on high heat for just a little while, like just a few minutes, and they're so yummy. So if you're ever feeling up to it, sprouts are cut. I am going to douse them in some olive oil, some salt, some pepper, and some vegan Parmesan cheese. I put a lot of oil on them. They're so solid, and while you're cooking them, the oil will really seep in. And you need that with Brussels sprouts to soften them up. These smell delicious. I'm gonna dump them onto a baking tray. Frickin' beautiful. Then I'm gonna put these in the oven, probably for about 25 minutes. I'm gonna rinse this bowl out and just like re-prep my station. Okay, I have these 2 heads of broccoli bunches. Is that what they're called? No fucking idea. And I'm going to cut them into florets. I like to leave a lot of the stalk on it, just because like, if that's more protein and that's more flavor, why would I cut it off? You know? Someone asked me how to meal prep when you get home from a long day of work and you're tired. And that's an interesting question, because the reason that I'm filming this video is because I've been working a lot. I'm really tired, but I still need to meal prep, so I might as well film it. I would love to just lie down and chill, and I could fall asleep for hours, but sometimes self-care is doing something that you don't feel like doing, but you need to do. For me, one way of taking care of myself is giving myself really good food. Because when I am having a hard time and I'm really tired or I'm really anxious or I'm really depressed, I have a really hard time taking care of myself and taking care of my body. So having this food for me is gonna make my week so much easier, because I'm gonna get home and I'm gonna know that I can just throw some stuff together and I can toss it in the microwave. If I am feeling fancy, I can heat it up on the stove, but there's always gonna be healthy stuff for me to eat this week, because I took the time to do this even though I was tired. Another thing about meal prep that I think is really important, make it something that feels good for you to do. A lot of the time I'll listen to a new episode of My Favorite Murder, or I'll listen to Up and Vanished, or I'll listen to a new album, or watch TV while I meal prep. It makes it like this ritual that I really enjoy doing. I know that when I meal prep, I get to listen to the new episode of My Favorite Murder, or I get to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, or whatever. It's ready for you on days such as this day when you're really tired. So if you can do it on a weekend, or if you can do it on a day that you have off, that's like the best thing that you can do for yourself. Take a few hours, set them aside, and know that you're gonna meal prep. Try not to budge from that, and take that time on the weekend to prep for your week, because then you won't, hopefully you won't get to this point where you're like, I'm so tired, I can't do it today. Because that's where I personally get into the habit of spending too much money on food and eating in a way that like doesn't make my body feel good. Broccoli is cut. I'm gonna put some olive oil on it. Freaking yum. Now I'm gonna put this on a baking sheet. I know that looking at these 2 trays of vegetables, you might be like, that's not gonna last me for a week, and I get it. But that's why the key is like having some rice, or having beans, or having like kale or spinach in the fridge that you can throw in and mix in to create a bowl, because that makes these vegetables go a lot further, and it means that you are splitting your dependence for your week-to-week meals between the grocery store and like the produce section and your staples that you have in your pantry. And I think that that's how you save money, and that's how you create like a sustainable meal prep, a sustainable shopping, like a grocery shopping habit. So yeah, I'm gonna pop these in the oven. I'm gonna put the rice on, and then I'm gonna charge my camera for a little bit because she's dying. Another day now, and I'm wearing another shirt. It's another day now, but I don't want to leave you hanging on this copycat dressing because it is really yummy. So I'm gonna film that now. And yes. I'm also wearing sweatpants. Did any of you go to Young Life when you were young? For this dressing, you're gonna need 2 cloves of garlic, but I'm gonna use 3. Kosher salt, some tahini, soy sauce, apple cider vinegar, honey if you're not vegan. I am mostly vegan, and I have maple syrup, so that's what I'm gonna use. Parsley. This is dried parsley from the grocery store. The recipe suggests fresh parsley, and hey, I get it, but I don't have like fresh herb thyme for cooking. You're also gonna need some water, baby. right, this is the dressing that I put on our meals that I meal prep. So I just sprinkle this over. I usually add beans or nuts or sometimes fucking French's onions, dude. Those taste so good. In the future, I will show you me putting the meals together, but my confession is that those freaking crunchy Brussels sprouts were so good that I ate them all when they got out of the oven. I just stood at the pan and I ate them all. So I'm sorry, I'll do better next time. I won't eat all the food as soon as it comes out. And we're all learning, so be nice. Bye!